I'm reviewing 3 kinds of fish sticks from Family Mart Japan. Hi, I'm Scott. So, fish sticks. They may not seem like the most appetizing of things to be reviewing, but you know, in Japan, they take their seafood stuff here pretty seriously. It's usually pretty top notch. These are quite often eaten as drinking foods, you know, something you have a bit of a nibble on when you're having a few beers or a glass of wine or something. So I've got 3 different types which I'm going to talk about today. Let's see, the first one is, this one has got 4 cheeses in it. You can see it's got 4 cheese, see the cheese on the top there? And the next one is a fried one, which is okonomiyaki style, okonomiyaki flavor, if you can see that. And then the last one is kind of a fish stick that you're probably more familiar with. It's more like a kind of a crab stick, and it's made from Alaskan crab, I believe. So the thing about these things is they're really marketing them towards people who want to, you know, up their protein intake. So each one is kind of like got loads of protein. This one's got 6.7 grams. This one has 6.3 grams. And this one is got 6.9 grams. So if you're into bodybuilding or if you're just trying to up your protein intake, these could be the things for you. So we're going to start off with the cheesy one. This is the one with the 4 cheeses. Oh, and by the way, as I mentioned, these are often eaten with, when you're drinking, having beer or wine or something. So I'm going to be having a beer with mine, of course. I'm having the Asahi non-alcohol beer today, Dry Zero. So this is one of the most popular ones. I have a suitably chilled glass, so I'm just going to pour it in right now. Oh. So let's have a little bit of a taste of this fake beer, or well, non-alcoholic beer. Cheers. Oh, it's very refreshing, but it's not beer. It's fake beer. But anyway, putting that aside. So we're starting off with a cheese one here. This supposedly has 4 different types of cheese in it. Now, this one and this one, these 2 are basically very similar. This one is a completely different style. So these 2 here are called Kamaboko, which is basically fish paste, which is fish which has been ground up and made into like a fish cake kind of a thing. They're used in all different types of cooking. So you can have kamaboko sliced as an appetizer or a side dish. You can also have it in oden, which is often the fried version. You can have it for toppings for soups, and of course noodles. You find them a lot in noodle dishes, and it's also served in bento boxes. So let's look at the review for this particular product. It says, it's a one-hand snack fish cake with cheese wrapped inside. Well, you can't beat a one-hand snack now, can you? So you can see it's got a lovely kind of browning on it, like it's been grilled, just to get a bit of colour, maybe a little bit of extra taste. So let's just crack it open and get straight in with a taste test, shall we? Now. So first, have a bit of a smell. You know, it's a fish stick, so it smells like fish, but it's not overly fishy. It'll give you a close-up look there. See? And you can see the cheese in the middle. It actually looks more like an egg, doesn't it, when you look at it like this? So texture-wise, these kamaboko type things, they're pretty firm. It's not like you're going to bite into it. This one here, I think, is going to be much softer and more tender. These are usually pretty firm. Oh, look at that. So let's have a bit of a taste. That's very nice. So it's supposedly got 4 different cheeses in it. It just tastes like one cheese, to be honest with you. You see there? I'll just give you that. So I don't know why they said it's got 4 cheese. It just tastes like cheese. It's not like the most natural of cheeses in it. It looks like a kind of a cheese paste or something, cheese puree. But you wouldn't normally think of like this kind of thing, a cheese put into like a fish stick or something like this, but it actually works pretty well. And the little brownie on the front here, where they've obviously grilled it, it's actually adding a slightly bit of not kind of a grilled, char grilled flavour, but just a tiny little hint. Let's see how it goes down with some beer. Oh, that's really funny. When you drink it with beer, you can taste the fish even more, and the cheese flavour kind of disappeared there. That's really weird. So size-wise, it's actually pretty big. These are all quite big, and the price is really cheap. They don't cost a lot of money, but they're good for having as a wee drinking snack. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is the fried one, which is the okonomiyaki-flavored fish stick, fish cake stick thing. Okay, so this is the okonomiyaki style thing. So if you've never had okonomiyaki, it's like a savory pancake. It's basically pancake and flour and other kinds of ingredients, which is cooked on a hot plate and served with like a sweet sauce. It's like an A1 sauce or kind of a barbecue sauce kind of a thing. And it's cooked on the hot plate, and it's got mayonnaise on the top, and then they put some dried bonito flakes and some seaweed on the top, and you eat it hot. So this is supposed to be flavoured just like that. So the product description for this is, it's a deep fried fish cake made in the style of okonomiyaki with cabbage, onions and pickled ginger. Each piece provides 6.9 grams of protein. So they're saying it's got cabbage, onions, and pickled ginger. I love a wee bit of pickled ginger, so this should add something extra to this one. I'm looking forward to this one the most, actually. So let's see what it's all about. Oh, there you go. Oh, hello. So let's... Oh, it's quite floppy, isn't it? Look at that. You see that? See, it is quite floppy one. So it really smells like okonomiyaki. So it has a very particular smell of, especially pickled ginger. I'm smelling that, and the sauce, and a little bit of onion, and of course it's... Now compared to this one, which is just fish, you know, fish paste kind of cake kind of a thing, this one is packed full of like cabbage and onions and pickled ginger, so it's got much more texture to it. Don't know if you can see in it. It's much more coarse texture, so when you bite into it, you can really taste all those vegetables and stuff. And the sauce, it's kind of coated in the sauce, which adds a kind of sweetness and a little bit of spiciness and an extra umami punch, if you know what I mean. So it really feels like you're having a combination of these typical Kamaboko fish cakes and okonomiyaki. Quite ingenious, really. Let's try some more. This goes really well with a bit of beer. Just the kind of, it's more salty. It's got more flavour to it than the other one, than this one here. So it kind of lends itself better to, you know, drinking with beer, maybe perhaps a glass of white wine or something. Yeah, very nice. Moving on to the next one, which is the very simple kind of a plain, it says plain on the side here. See, it says plain. So it looks like the classic fish stick. It looks like a giant fish stick. So let's read the product description for this particular one. It's a crab stick with a substantial volume, designed to resemble king crab legs. Each stick provides 6.7 grams of protein. So there you go. It's supposed to resemble king crab legs. So it definitely looks, it's got the color. Don't know how natural that color is, but it's got the color. So king crab legs are famous all over the world, and it's one of the more expensive crabs, I suppose. I must be honest, I'm not a huge fan of crab to begin with, so my review might be a bit skew-if here, but I'm gonna give it a try. Oh, it definitely smells much more fishy. Much more fishy. Have a look at that. And you can see it's much juicier as well. So when I smell it, it smells very fresh. Nothing wrong with the smell as a product as such, but just because I'm not a huge fan of this kind of thing, like crabs especially, we'll see how it goes. Okay. It's much more tender than the other ones, and it's got a completely different texture. So these ones, they're much firmer, and this one, like a typical crab stick, it's kind of like made up of like long strings, or like all put together, if you know what I mean. It's like there's lots of strings going through it, like a crab's leg, I suppose. And the colouring, I love the blue packaging against this kind of orange. I don't know, I really like the colouring of this packaging, but that's nothing to do with anything. But yeah, for me, it's for a flavour-wise, I mean, it's a little bit fishy for me, but it's just me, you know. Probably if you love crab, you'll probably really like this, because it's not overpowering. It just tastes very fresh. It's actually very light. And I'm just going to see how it goes with beer. Okay, I'm not getting a very strong flavour of like the fishiness of it, of the crabbiness of it all. But yeah, it goes well with beer. I would say the okonomiyaki one, this one here, goes best with beer. Okay, points wise, I'm going to give this one 4 stars. It was very nice, really well made. It's a classic Kamaboko style. It's got the cheese. The cheese wasn't particularly amazing, but it just gave a nice kind of a cheese flavor to it. Went very well with beer, so 4 stars for this one. Okonomiyaki, definitely 5 stars. This was really good. If you like kind of a stronger flavor, this one here could be the one for you. And it's got a lot more texture and went really well with beer. Probably go really well with white wine as well, I would imagine. And the crab stick, because I'm not a huge fan, I'm gonna give it 3. But it was very well made, nothing against the product at all. It's just not really my thing, if you know what I mean. Okay, so there you go, fish sticks. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.